Hey everyone, welcome back to Hike Slam. This is Phil, and today's adventure is going to be an overnight on the Appalachian Trail, hiking in from my truck, which I parked just right up a Forest Service road here. I've been to this area a number of times. I haven't stayed an overnight here in a long time, so I'm really excited about it. It's been a while. The weather's super nice. I had to work today, so I'm getting a little bit of a later start. It's about 3:30 right now. It is the shortest day of the year though. It's December 20th, so the sun will be going down pretty quick. It'll start to darken around 5:30, so that should leave me plenty of time to get to the campsite and get everything set up before it gets too dark. Okay, coming up to the stream crossing here. That means the shelter isn't far away. All right, little check-in. I just crossed the stream down there. The trail winds up this hill and around, and the shelter is not far. And that's where I plan on camping for the night. My pack is by no means light. It's got good weight to it. Most of the weight's coming from the water. I have 2.5 liters of water about. I have my heavy winter sleeping bag. It's not too heavy, but heavier than the summer bag. I've got my tent in here, the poles, all that stuff. I find most of the variability in weight comes from food, carrying extra water. I try not to carry more than 3 liters of water at a time, especially because there's a stream I can treat if I need more. So 2.5 is right where I want to be. I might not even need to treat since I'm leaving early in the morning. But I'm feeling good, body's feeling good. No aches or pains right now. So I'm just gonna press on to the shelter and see if anybody's there and set up my tent and settle in for the night. All right, there's the sign for the shelter. Just looking down there, I don't see any signs of activity. Not that it's a deal breaker. Well, I'd probably leave, just because it's awkward to be filming around a bunch of people who are trying to relax. So for their sake, I'd probably leave, but most of the time people are cool. But let's go down and investigate. Looks pretty good. Shelter's still here. That's always a good first start. Doesn't look like anyone's here. Fire pit was probably pretty recently used, but no trash around or anything. That's good. Yep, nobody's gear's in here. Got the shelter log. I'll check that out in a little bit. Round back here. Let's check out the other fire pit. This one looks like somebody's been out here. Not sure how long ago though. Looks like it might not have been as recently used, but everything looks like it's in good shape. So it looks like this will likely be my home for the night, unless a bunch of like rabid bears or maniacs come up the trail. So I guess we'll see what happens. That looks like a pretty good camera spot there, so I'm gonna get my pack off here. Just to have some water and kind of take it all in. It's really tempting right now to set up my tent and just get everything all laid out. I think I'm going to give it like half hour, 45 minutes, just to see if any other hikers come along. One thing I do want to check, the battery on this camera wears out pretty quickly. I do have a battery bank. I want to test to see if the charger cable I got will work. There's no reason why it shouldn't, but I bought it from Walmart, so we'll see what happens. Okay, wait, before I get too settled in, let's check this shelter log and see if there were any weirdos or maniacs out here. Plus, good daylight will make the reading a little bit easier. Let's go right to the end. If I see that dude's handwriting from the other video, I am out of here. Okay, 12:18 was the last entry. Somebody may have ripped out a page there, but looks like standard kind of stuff. People just enjoying the outdoors, so good stuff. Good stuff. Great news and important update for the video. Charger cable works with this camera, so that's great. I'll be able to get more footage, which means a better video, hopefully. But at least the chances of me running out of battery before I get all the shots I want for the video is way lower. So I'll take that as a win. All right, I've been at the campsite for about 45 minutes. I've been walking around gathering up some firewood. It's a little tough finding dry firewood right now. It's been raining a lot recently. I think I got enough for a small fire. I don't need to have a huge blaze, like a huge bonfire or something. It's just nice to sit by something warm when it gets cooler and the sun starts going down, so that's nice. Got a chance to try out the privy. 8 out of 10, not bad at all. Pretty clean, so that's always a good thing. You never want to use the privy, but if you have to use it, it's not bad when it's clean, so that's good. I think it's gotten late enough now. I'm gonna set up my tent and go through my gear I brought with you guys, and we'll go from there. The best spot for the tent will be right here. Normally you wouldn't want to set up too close to another fire pit there, just in case some sparks hit your tent, but since I'm anticipating being the only one here tonight, I think this is gonna work fine. And that is my home for the night. It is the Eureka Backcountry 1 tent. Eureka doesn't make this tent anymore. I'm sure they have newer, advanced, super light, amazing tents, but this one served me well for over 10 years. Hundreds of nights in the woods, still holding up good. And I did put some stakes in the corners. It's not windy at all. I don't have any fear of it blowing away, especially once I have all my stuff in there, but it does stretch out the bottom here to make it a little bit more spacious, just enough space for my backpack, sleeping bag, and sleeping pad. And I can sit up in here if I wanted to. So that's my tent. Now I'll get the sleeping pad, sleeping bag in there, and then probably make some dinner. Let's check out the full setup here. Eastern Mountain Sports 20-degree sleeping bag. I think this is a women's because it's my wife's. So I can hear Courtney right now saying, "That's mine," because it is. Then I have an inflatable sleeping pad. This is by Fox Outdoors. There's like a step inflation part to this, so that makes it easy to blow up. Should be a pretty comfy night in there. Should be warm enough. And that's the full setup. So I think I'm gonna do one last trek around looking for some dryish firewood. It is the longest night of the year, the winter solstice. So I'm gonna be up for a while. So I know if I go to bed at like 8 o'clock, which I probably will anyway, I'll be up at around 4. That's just how it goes when you're out hiking in the winter. But I want to see if I can get some wood, maybe have a prolonged fire and just kind of enjoy the evening. So that's what I'm gonna do now, just looking for some more wood. It's not huge, but I'll take it. That's what she said. All right, so I'm up the hill from the camp a little bit. Is this a thing? I think it might be. That should do it for firewood. Let me drag this back to camp. Got some wood there. Not the biggest pile in the world, but best I could do. Now let's have some dinner. Tonight for dinner, I'm going to be having some spicy ramen. So I haven't had this in a long time. I used to eat it a lot, and I don't know, I just felt like it. I do have some Mountain House meals at home Those are always really good too, but it just felt like a ramen kind of night. So this will fill me up good, at least enough until tomorrow morning when I can have a giant breakfast, which I'm already looking forward to. That's one of the best parts about coming out and hiking. You eat some food, you feel good, you go to bed. There's something about going home and having like a big breakfast that just hits just right. So I'm already looking forward to it, and I haven't even had my dinner yet, but it's gonna be good. Ooh. Glad I used the Privy before I got all that spicy powder all over my hands. Let me pour in the hot water. Now it says to cover and let sit for 3 minutes. Looks like I started my dinner just in time. It got dark so fast. It's about 5:20 right now. Ooh, this smells good. Yeah, perfect. That is so good. It's like the perfect spice level. Nice and hot. You can probably see the steam coming off of there. So once I finish dinner, I'll get a little fire going and then maybe have some dessert. Kind of just hang out and enjoy the evening. The sky is overcast. It's gray. The temperature is probably about 40 right now. So when I get set up by the fire, I'll probably get on some warmer layers and then just kind of relax. So it got dark really fast. The camera battery was a little low, so I plugged it into charge, and 5 minutes later it's like pitch black out here. So I guess that's just how it goes. I'm gonna get a fire started. I have put on more layers here. I got my puffy jacket on. Feeling pretty warm. My hands are a little cold, but I'm sure once I get the fire going, that'll change. That ramen was super spicy. I don't know if I'm just getting old, if I've lost my edge. But I was blowing my nose. But it was great. I loved it. Nice and warm. Awesome. So I'm gonna work on that fire and then have some dessert. So for dessert, I have some homemade granola. I didn't make it. My amazing nieces and nephews and my sister-in-law and my brother gave it to me for Christmas. Well, gave it to Courtney and I for Christmas. We probably weren't supposed to open it before Christmas, but whoops, I snuck some. So good. Little sweet, not too sweet. I gotta be careful not to eat the whole bag. Fire's going strong, nice and warm. Had my dessert, and I wasn't gonna bring anything to drink on this little mini outdoor adventure, but when I went into my medical bag, what do you know? A secret bottle of Elijah Craig. I'll enjoy this by the fire. How serendipitous. Just to find it in my hiking stuff. It's beautiful. It's perfect. Delicious. Looks like it's going to get down to about 35 tonight, so it'll be cold, but not too cold. I wonder how I'll sleep tonight. I do hear some planes overhead from time to time. Not a lot. No other hikers pass through. It's funny how conditioned we get to just being in like society and around everything, because the wind whipped up over the hill and I was like, oh, I hear a car. It was the wind. There's no roads anywhere near here. So that was kind of funny. I'm going to throw some more fuel on the fire and enjoy a little woods TV, as one of my old hiking buddies used to call it. So let me get that going. The fire's great. It's nice and warm. Doesn't throw off a lot of light right now, so I'm using my little light here. Not really tired yet. I'll probably get into my tent soon, just because once the fire burns out, it'll be pretty cold out here, and I'll just go lay down. I was going to go through all my gear with you guys, but there's really not much that you haven't seen. So there's the stove, there's the tent, sleeping bag, sleeping pad. I have one of my knives with me. In the medical kit, I have my toothbrush, toothpaste, some Gold Bond. Very important, Gold Bond. I won't get into it too much, but it's important to have. Have all my clothes I'm wearing here. I guess the only things I haven't shown yet are I have my power bank for charging up my phone if I need to, and my camera here. I have a headlamp and what else? Handkerchief, toilet paper. That's basically it. Pretty simple. Earplugs. I did earplugs because if it was going to be really windy out here, I wanted to have earplugs because that helps me sleep. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to sleep at all. Yeah, so it's been a great night so far. I'm really enjoying it. This is just throwing off a bunch of smoke. Must have hit that wet wood. So I'm going to throw the rest of the wood on, sit by the fire, and then hit the hay. All right, I'm in my tent now. Fire burned out about 30 minutes ago. I doused the embers with water from the stream, brushed my teeth, packed up all my trash and all my stuff as best as I could see. I'll check again in the morning, and got into my tent. The sleeping pad stayed inflated, which is always long it'll take me to get to sleep, but I'm sure I'll eventually get there, so I'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning. It's about 6:15 a.m., 31 degrees. Starting to get light outside, but the camera doesn't pick it up, so I need my little flashlight. I slept all right. I know I slept a little bit. My feet were a little cold, and what I was using for a pillow was not propping my neck up enough. I was using my down, like, packable jacket, and obviously since it's packable, it just like collapses. So I got a little bit of sleep though, but I'm ready to get to my truck and get to the heat, and then get to my home, get to some food. So I'm gonna start packing up camp and hit the trail. So what I thought was the sunrise was actually the moonlight. So the half moon there came out from behind the clouds and lit up the ground. Camera still doesn't pick it up, but looking outside my tent, it looked like the sun was coming up. But it is about 6:30 now. Sun is probably about maybe 45 minutes, an hour away, I guess. I never looked at the exact sunrise time, but based on how dark it is right now, I think that's accurate. So I'm gonna pack everything up and hit the trail. All right, time to write an entry into the shelter log here. Okay, now it got bright enough where you can see me and I can see myself. Looking pretty rough there. To be expected after about maybe 2 hours of sleep spread over 12 hours. But I'm feeling pretty good. This low light mode on the camera is actually pretty nice. Doesn't pick up in the dark like night vision or anything, but definitely helps with situations like this where the sun's just low in the sky, there's enough light to see, and normally you wouldn't be able to see anything, so this is great. I'm about 15 minutes from the Forest Service Road where my truck is parked. That trip went great. I know it was just one night overnight, but it had been a while since I've done it, and I'm really happy with how everything went. I brought all the right gear. The one thing I could have done better with was use something different for my pillow. Maybe bring a bulkier fleece next time or something I can roll up and use that just to keep my head stabilized. My neck's a little creaky this morning, but no big deal. I was able to get a couple hours of sleep, and that's all you can really ask for out here. So a nap may be in my future, we'll see. But right now I'm just hungry looking forward to getting to the warmth of the truck, and then looking forward to eating some breakfast and having some coffee. All right, my truck is still here. That's always a good way to start the day. That ain't going nowhere. All right, lights on, that's good. All right, let's get that heat cranking. So I'm back at home in front of the warm fire here. Feels really nice. It was cold last night. Got a nice hot cup of coffee here. I'm sure I'll have something for breakfast later, probably after a shower and stuff, but I think this is a good spot to wrap it up. So thanks for watching, guys. It was a fun adventure, and see you next time.